Hi everyone, welcome to Zenden, a safe space to calm your mind and body. Today we're going to be doing a short chair yoga practice, so you will need a second chair for this one. We're going to do a couple of poses where we'll be using the second chair, so make sure you have that handy before we get started. The other thing you might want is a yoga mat, just because we're going to be using that later on for another pose. So if you have a chair and a yoga mat, maybe a blanket if you want to, we should be good to go. So first of all, we're going to start with a quick body scan. So if you find yourself in a comfortable position, with your feet flat on the floor, with your ankles either directly underneath your knees, or you can bring your feet a little bit further away and a little bit further apart, whatever feels comfortable for you. You can rest your hands on your knees, on your lap, and either close your eyes or have a soft gaze. And we're going to just connect to our bodies and center ourselves before we start the practice. So maybe take a couple of moments to check in with yourself, notice how you're feeling. Maybe notice your breath, maybe notice your heartbeat, and just checking in with how you're feeling today in this moment. Let's bring the attention to your feet, to your toes, the top of the feet and the bottom of the feet. Maybe pay attention to what your feet are resting on. So is the surface hot or cold, hard or soft? Moving the attention to your ankles and up the shins and the calves to your knees. We're just paying attention here, we're not judging or trying to change anything, just noticing how your body feels. Moving the attention up to your hips and your pelvis. How does that area of your body feel today? Moving the attention to your tummy and to your chest, to the front of your body. Maybe to the bottom of your back, the middle of your back and the top of your back. Again, not trying to change how you feel, just noticing any sensations that might come up. Moving the attention to your shoulders, down your arms to your elbows, down to your wrists, your hands and your fingers. Maybe noticing the connection between your hands and your legs. The warmth that's passing between the two different parts of your body. Moving the attention to your shoulders and to your neck, around the back of your head, to your scalp, round to the top and to the front, to your forehead, your eyes, your eyebrows, your cheeks, your mouth, your nose, your jaw, maybe unclenching your jaw, softening your back teeth. Releasing your tongue from the top of the mouth. And again, just noticing any sensations that come up and just noticing how you feel, not trying to change anything. Just being aware of your body. When we feel ready, you can slowly start to open your eyes. I'm going to work through some movements. So let's start by looking over our right shoulder. Back to center over the left shoulder, back to center over the right, back to center over the left, back to center, look up and down, up and down, and back to center. Bring your right ear towards your right shoulder for a gentle stretch of the left hand side. Stay here for 3, 2, 1. Back to center and left ear to left shoulder, stretching the right hand side. Again, staying here for 3, 2, 1. Back to center. Let's move on to the shoulders. So if you extend your arms out either side, bring your fingertips to join your shoulders. I'm going to do some circles here, so we can circle backwards to start off with. These can be big or small circles, you can move fast or slow. Just listening to your body, and you can choose, you can decide what you want to do in this moment. and going forwards. And hands come back down to your lap. We're going to work through some hip walking. So for this, we're going to lift up the left hip and move forward slightly, rocking over to the left hand side, lifting up the right hip and moving forwards. So it's almost like we're walking forwards. Be careful you don't get too far forwards. When you feel safe and when you feel like you've done enough, we're going to then start hip walking back. So this is a great way to move your hips as you're sitting down in a chair. So again, I'm going to walk forwards, and when you feel ready, start walking backwards and back to center. We're going to move into some cat-cow. So for this one, on the exhale, bring your hands over your knees, curve your spine and look down towards the floor. On the inhale, bring your hands up your legs, bending your elbows and bringing your elbows all the way back as you lift your chest and lift your gaze. So exhale, hands come down over the knees, curve the spine. Inhale, elbows back, chest is lifted. Let's do 3 more times. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Last time, exhale. And inhale. And back to center. Let's do some circles. So if you start to lean forwards, and when you feel ready, move over to the right hand side, moving back to the left hand side and forwards. So these can be big circles, these can be small circles. You can move quickly or slowly. Again, this is your practice, your body. Do what feels good for you in this moment. So we're going to do a couple more times in this direction just to warm up the hips, warm up the spine as well, finding some movement. Let's go in the opposite direction. So again, moving the hips, the spine, and noticing how this feels in your body. And back to center. When we're ready, bring your left hand to hold onto the edge of the chair. And with your right hand, we're going to inhale the arm up. And exhale, reach over to the left hand side. So be careful not to fall here. You don't want to reach too far, but just enough that you're stretching the right arm and the side of your right body, the right side of your body. So even reaching up to the sky, rather than reaching over, you can reach up and you should feel a stretch there. Exhale, back down. I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. So with your right hand, hold onto the side of the chair. Left hand, inhale, bring the arm up. Exhale, stretch. And again, it's not about stretching over, about going too far. You can kind of stretch up and you'll still get the benefits of this stretch here down the left arm and down the left hand side of your body. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Big inhale and exhale, back down to center. So from here, we're going to use our second chair. And what we're actually going to do, I'm going to just grab my yoga mat. So if you want to grab a yoga mat, a bolster, a cushion, something like that, it might come in handy as well. So I have my yoga mat here, it's just rolled up. And what I'm going to do is bring the chair in front of my right leg and place the bolster or the yoga mat or whatever it is underneath my knee so that my leg can relax here. And I'm going to point my toes up. Oftentimes with chair yoga, you might overextend your knee if you keep your legs straight, whereas this way, my knee is not overextended. I'm still going to get the benefits of the stretch, but without hurting myself. So place something underneath your knee, whatever feels best for you. And we're going to lengthen up through the spine, pointing your right toes up to the sky. And on the exhale, hinge forwards at the hips with a hip flexion over the right leg. And only once you've flexed at the hips, we're going to then flex the spine, and you can start to maybe bring your head closer to your knee, rounding the top of the spine, with your right toes pointing up to the sky, and you might feel a stretch down your hamstrings doing this pose. So we're going to stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and gently press back up. We're going to move the yoga mat or bolster or cushion out of the way. Bring the chair in front of you. I'm going to move into pigeon pose. So bring your right foot onto the chair so that your right foot is comfortably in front of you. So it might be close to your left knee. It might otherwise be closer to you. You could also put your right ankle on your left knee if that's more comfortable, if you don't want to use the chair. But since we have the chair here, I'm going to go ahead and use it. So again, hugging in the right foot towards your body. On the exhale, you might want to lean forwards again to feel a stretch of your right hip. And you have the chair here if you want to hold on to it. If you want to lean forwards even more, you have that option available to you as well. So we will hold this again for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's press back up. And we're going to move the chair to the opposite side. So you can move the chair around, and we're going to do the first one first. So bring your left leg onto the chair. Again, place something underneath your knee just so you're not overextending your left leg. Relax the leg down and point your toes upwards. Sit up nice and tall. And on the exhale, we're going to flex at the hips, so hinging forwards at the hips, and then you can round the top of your spine to fold over your left leg, making sure that the right foot is planted firmly on the floor. You feel stable with your right foot, and you might feel a stretch of your left hamstrings. So again, we're going to stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When we're ready, we're going to come back up. Move the yoga block, or the yoga mat or the bolster out of the way. Bring the chair in front of you. I'm going to do it this way so you can see what I'm doing. And bring your foot into a pigeon pose. So again, you can bring your left ankle, directly onto your left knee if that's what you want to do. Otherwise, we do have the chair available, so I'm going to use it. So again, bringing your left foot somewhere close to your right knee here. And if you want to, you can inhale and exhale, start to lean forwards so that you feel a gentle stretch in your left hip. Again, you can hold onto the chair for support, either the chair seat or the top of the chair, wherever feels best for you. And we'll stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and ready. We can come back up. We're going to put the chair to one side. I don't think I'll need it later on, so we're going to keep it to one side, but we will be using it again. The next one I'd like to do is fish pose. So if you grab your yoga mat, or a bolster might do, otherwise you're going to put the yoga mat. I'm actually going to turn slightly to the side so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to put the yoga mat behind me, and I'm going to make sure that I'm sat as far back as possible so that I'm supporting my lower spine. I'm going to start to lean against the yoga mat and open up the chest and the shoulders here. So your hands can come down by the sides. You can even hold onto the back of the chair if you want to. Bring your head back. So make sure that you're not hurting your neck with this. So don't move your head too far back. Just far enough back that you feel your chest opening, your shoulders opening. And this is seated fish pose. So let's take a couple of moments here to notice our breath. Notice the opening of the chest. You can also bring your hands out in front of you if you want to, as if you're doing a stop sign, and bring your elbows back. This might also help to open your chest. So let's stay here for a couple of breaths. Now when we're ready, we'll come back up to a seated position. And the last pose I want to do with both chairs is to do child's pose. So you have a couple of options here. You have the option of bringing your feet a little bit wider than your chair, so you can bring the chair closer to you, and having a bolster or a yoga mat, something like that, that you can rest your head on and hug the bolster. Rest your arms on the chair, on your elbows on your knees, but resting your forehead against the mat, and that's what we want there, is the connection with the mat, with the forehead. So this might be your child's pose. The other option is to bring the mat or bolster to the chair, and again finding the connection with your forehead to the mat, so bringing your head down. You might be able to rest your arms either on your knees, otherwise letting your hands hang down beside you as you rest your head on the mat. So there are two options here that I'd recommend exploring and seeing which one feels good for you in your body today. I'm actually going to bring my hands back up, maybe even reach my hands over. That feels good, that's stretching the top of my back. So you can play about here and just explore and see what feels good for you today. So we'll stay here for a couple of moments. You might notice your body sinking in with the exhale, sinking down into the chair, into the mat. I'm actually going to push my chair further away so that I feel more elongation in my spine. When we feel ready, we're going to start to press back up and come back up to a seated position. Now I think for now I've finished with the second chair and the yoga mat, so you can push them to one side. So the last thing I'd like to do is to sit in Savasana. I'm actually going to take the yoga mat and place it behind me horizontally just to support my lower back here. Sit up nice and tall and close my eyes. Both feet are flat on the floor. My hands are on my knees, on my legs. And you can start to gently close your eyes or have a soft gaze in front of you. And just start to pay attention to your breath. Where do you notice your inhales and exhales? Maybe you notice your heartbeat. Maybe you notice your feet on the floor. Maybe you notice the items of clothing that you're wearing. Maybe you notice your hands on your legs. Just paying attention to your body and noticing any sensations that you might be feeling. We're going to sit in Savasana for a couple of moments, focusing on your breath, and if any thoughts come to mind, say yes. Say yes to each of those thoughts, acknowledge them, notice that they are there, but don't dwell on what's happening. you feel ready, you start to open your eyes. Maybe start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe rotating your wrists, maybe rotating to one ankle at a time. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I really hope you enjoyed today's class. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.